Welcome back. The title of this module is Pleasure versus Pain. Play versus work. Which would you rather have in your body and in your life? I know the answer. I could just speak for me though. When my body and my life went through amazing flow into suffering because a mudslide forced me with great flow and great pressure, and I was all shucking up, I went deep into suffering. So you're hearing from me as I'm coming back from suffering into a life of pleasure in my body and pleasure in my life. So you're on this course with me, and I'd like to say welcome to the journey of pleasure versus pain, work versus play, and more especially, specifically for you guys, to understand how safe it is to contact your pleasurable breath. I've been a, quote, breath worker since the early 80s. And we worked our breath, and in sessions, you had to breathe a certain way, you couldn't move, you couldn't talk. There were many rules to breath work. And to tell you the truth, I think one of the reasons that maybe it wasn't that popular was because it had the word work in it. And most of us, not myself, but a lot of you, maybe you're not that happy or thrilled with the kind of work that you're doing. So breath play is something that I started talking about and realizing that I play with my breath. And when I play with my breath, as you could see, I start to dance right away because this is a breath dance. So I want to welcome you to breath play and breath dancing because it's pleasurable. And you, and maybe you over there, or you, pleasure's safe. I know these are just words because it took me most of my adult life to heal from abuse and to come back to the world of pleasure, both in my body and in my life. So pleasurable breath play, pleasurable breath posture, and pleasurable breath weight is such a pleasure. The opposite is also true. Making the breath be a lot of work. Just kidding. Or you eat so much and your belly's too big to breathe. It could be a lot of work to breathe for some of you, especially if you haven't changed your posture yet. We had some modules on holistic fitness to try to get you aware that nerve flow, your brain communicating on your cells and your organs, and especially the digestive organs, is pleasure. Health is pleasure. So what's it going to take for you to realize that you deserve pleasure and be open and willing that pleasure is safe? I come from a group of parents who lost kids, and I learned very quickly while trying to teach them is that they were afraid of pleasure. So it's not just the children that have been abused, or whether you've been raped or pedophile like myself, or gone through great loss. If you've been traumatized right after being really happy, then you might not trust subconsciously, okay? Because it's not conscious with most of you. So it's a subconscious negative thought that pleasure leads to pain. Well, We can say that about a lot of things, but I think that right now I have you to be open that your most pleasurable breath posture can lead you to a pleasure that comes really close to the pleasure of food. And I'm an overeater and overstuffer, so if I'm telling you this, trust me, I really believe it and I live it. And that's probably why I'm teaching it. So it has to be play, it has to be easy, it has to flow, or you're not going to do it. That's right. It's a lot easier to get that pleasure from food and overstuffing and overeating of your delicious foods than to go inside and reconnect with very pleasurable love and light and peace that's inside you. I was fortunate before the mudslide that I was the happiest, the healthiest. I had lost all my weight. I had come to terms with breath play, breath flow, my sexuality, my innocence. Pleasure was safe. I was ballroom dancing in high levels of pleasure. And then, as you might have it subconsciously, my life took a turn from being as strong and as healthy as I can be with ultimate pleasure ballroom dancing and the weight melting off of me and staying off of me to the flow of a mudslide. So I understand pleasure and pain.